And this was a book where I didn't even know, but I figured, I don't know, Howard the Duck seems like something me and Gray could have fun with. I think that it would be a character that you might enjoy, would get a kick out of, whatnot. I had no idea, but when I said, hey, what do you want to do, whatever, you did even mention this book, Howard the Duck.
I did want to do it, yeah. It's like, I've got a bit of a connection to this, Jim. My older brother used to buy comics back in the late 1970s. He used to have some of the original Steve Gerber.
That's awesome. And okay, it's a 50th anniversary issue. It's an anthology issue, but it's not that oversized until you read it, because it takes forever. I don't understand it. Usually these things are like, 80 pages, and I'm like, okay, I get it. It's 80 pages. I'm not a strong reader, as they say. But when I went into this, I start out and I'm like, all right, this is kind of fun. By about the middle of the second story, which I'm saying is the Kibblesmith one, I'm like, I want out. But because we were going to do this, I'm like, all right, and I plowed through it. But you start out, it's mainly a Chip Zdarsky thing, and he's had a bit of a run on Howard the Duck, so that's kind of cool. And it's kind of the bookend story that he does, and in his part, it's Chip Zdarsky and Joe Quiones with Jordan Gibson on inks and Stacey Lee colors, DC's Travis Lanham on letters. This is okay. I got a laugh because it is in 2025, the Great Hero War 7. You end up where Howard's there and they're fighting the undead pools, the Cap Wolves, the Blade Wilsons, all these things.
They're throwing everything in, Jim, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's all for laughs. It's all for laughs. Oh my God. Like the idea that it's ramped up in 2025, they've run out of ideas, maybe they're going. But when not the Watcher, but his cousin or brother, he's the Peeper. And he comes down and he looks like a creeper.
He does look creepy.
He's the Peeper. And he has that thin mustache. He's wearing a white Peter and sweat.
They call him the Peeper.
He has hairy arms. That made me laugh, the idea. It's like, and they're like, oh man, the Watcher's here. It's like, yeah, I kind of peep. I'm the Peeper. That made me, that's the biggest laugh I got.
Yeah, same here.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty funny. To be this, this is your life. It's a wonderful world. What if, as they say, or what if, because it's, the whole deal with the Howard the Duck. But he ends up it ends up playing off very loosely of, is every place where I am I always miserable? Am I always having problems? And we go and we find out that indeed he is. But there is one other little funny play. Hawkeye in this is about to die in Spider-Man's arms. And he goes, it's not your fault. And then Spidey's like, what'd you say? And Howard yells out, he said it's your fault. And Spidey gets all upset. That made me giggle.
That was the second laugh I got. Yeah, you're right. That's still the Chip Zdarsky in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we get into these stories, though,
this got tough for me, Jim. It's a bit of a struggle.
He's this first one. Daniel Kibblesmith with art by Annie Wu, Ian Herring on colors, and DC's Travis Lanham on letters. And it is Howard is the, he's the president of the United States. We're being invaded by aliens, but they're almost like, if you watch Rick and Morty, show us what you got type aliens. They're involved in branding. They want to buy the rights to the heroes of Earth, and then they're going to run it through the machine that makes them vanilla and down the middle so that they can make money without little effort. It's all this meta nonsense that I really don't care about. And I realized when I read this, the reason why a lot of times the Howard the Duck stuff, it feels like it should be funnier than it is because these, yahoos like Kibblesmith here decides that they're just going to tell their little clever meta stories. And you never really get much of a feel or character work of Howard himself. He gets caught up in their nonsense.
That's a good point. Yeah, absolutely.
Howard, and maybe that would be a funny story for Howard to say, I'm sick of getting caught up in anybody's social commentary, their little wink, wink jabs at things, because that's what people use him for. I want him. I want to have, and you kind of got a little bit of it in that first thing with Chip Zdarsky, the idea that, yeah, things are going to get wacky, but make him the focus, not your clever or quote unquote clever ideas and things like that. That I'm telling you, some of these writers, I'm waiting for Mark Russell to show up now. And because it's all like that, like they have this file. If I ever do Howard the Duck, I'll pull this crap out and throw it. But it ends up where the art's good throughout, but it's kind of just gets annoying. A book that's a 50th anniversary celebrating a character get annoying. I don't want to be annoyed by Howard in this. And I'm more annoyed by the writers, but unfortunately Howard is the face of this, so I end up getting annoyed. And nothing is going to matter in this anyway. But yeah, Howard takes down these aliens. Oh my God, you did it, USA.
Some of these jokes, Jim, they did not land for me. They were pretty cringe, pretty bad. And I've got to say that this first, like the backup stories, whatever you call it, I didn't really like the art in this one. I know it's mean to say that, Annie Wu's art. I just thought it was pretty scratchy, sketchy, basic.
Yeah, I don't mind it as much. The art gets better. And
it does
I think
get better.
that when you get the deal, so then the next story is going to be Howard joining up with the X-Men, and it's written by Jason Liu, who I'm not really aware of. Art by Derek Charm, again, I'm not very aware of. Colors by D. Cunniff and VC's Travis Lanham on letters. The art's pretty good in this. And I think that maybe this story could have been a little better. That it's weird to have a little more room. It ends up again because of this whole concept anthology deal and Howard going through this multiverse deal. You end up where it feels like, greatest hits again.
Yeah,
here he is. He's on the X-Men. He gets turned into a mutant.
He's a mutant.
Yeah, and the whole play of it is to show Howard how much it sucks to be a mutant. So Proteus ends up making him a mutant and then kind of loses track of him. It's kind of a funny concept by the end because Proteus seems like, oh crap, I didn't turn you back. I'll turn you back. But in the meantime, Howard's going to join the X-Men team. He's going to mess up. Then he's going to end up where he's now on the, with the younger characters, with the new mutants. He's going to end up then being recruited by Emma to be on the Hellions team. And you play that kind of like goofy deal. The Hellions show up and they look like a biker gang straight out of Grease. It looks like, that sort of thing. They don't look that threatening, but they're like the biker gang.
That was pretty funny. I like that. Yeah.
So you get the idea of it. And in the meantime, you do have this kind of play overall of Howard actually helping the new mutants, the young kids, because they don't get a lot of, props. They're bullied a lot. They're a joke. And he ends up helping them. And actually, when Emma comes and says, I want you to join my cool team, the Hellions, he does say, do I get a backpack like that guy? A jetpack? No, I'm out. But he goes and it's like, he's actually made some friends with the new. I'm like, I don't know why, but I got some feels from that.
I love the way he ends up in a big pool as well. Gee, with the X-Mansion. That's my favourite part. It's like a few years later. We jump a few years.
He's there forever. Proteus shows up, and I thought that the play here, and I do like he's on like a little bit of an inner tube that looks like a donut. I think that's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
I thought what was going to happen. It doesn't quite happen this way. But I thought that since Howard's there, he was going to corrupt the whole X-Men team and everybody was just going to be like crazy or whatever. They're just having a pool party. And he's there. He's actually getting along. It looks like in this world, he could have just been an X-Men. And
he even looks happy, doesn't he? Yeah, at the end.
Proteus is mad because he didn't get invited to the party and says, I can't believe you're still a mutant. This is ridiculous, and ends up changing him. In that, though, it is funny where when he is not a mutant, they kick his butt to the curb. They end up where they get Kurt said, hey, get him out of here.
That was fast, wasn't it? Fast work.
It almost plays that opposite of, the mutants are never accepted by humanity. Well, here they end up once he's not a mutant, they kick him out. It's okay. I think this is the best story. Other than the wraparound deal was kind of funny by Chip Zdarsky. But it just ended up like it was too quick. You never can really set there. Again, you're not going to be able to do much in these little bit of pages. But
no,
we then go to the last story. And I know you didn't like the Kibble Smith one. I could barely get through this. And it's Howard in the Guardians of the Galaxy. But it's the one with Flash Thompson Venom. You got Thing on the team. It's that wacky team. Star-Lord is off doing his Spartak stuff. So Howard the Duck has taken the reins of being Star-Lord, and he has them gathering up, lost alien cats and dogs. And you have the Rockets pissed off. But it is written by Merritt K. Will Robson on art, Pete Pentazis on colors, and VC Stratus Lanham on letters. The art's pretty good.
I do like the art, this one, yeah.
Really does fit, I'm telling you, like 2005 Marvel deal, even a little bit later, but it really does feel, if you go back to this point where you have the Guardians of the Galaxy, it looks like it. It really has the coloring, everything. They really nailed that look. And with that, though, it's a slog for me.
The story, yeah, it's not great, is it, Jim? It's just okay, the story. I was kind of enjoying the art. That's
Merrick Kay is like a fanfic writer, possibly. Like you said, that was in Chip Zdarsky. Is that
his latest newsletter? He's saying that I think they did some kind of like what do you call it? I got a comic on online,
like a web comic.
Yeah, like a web. That's it, web comic or webtoons. Yeah.
What you usually call those is bull crap. That's what I've heard. But now here's the thing. I'd never thought in any of these that, oh my God, like this person can't write. Because again, the last two stories, I'm not familiar with the writers. So but this one I think might be a tad overwritten. And the problem is you're bogged down a bit and you can't have fun because of it. Because what they end up wanting to do is give a lot of shout out to the zany things and villains from the past and the Howard the Duck stuff. In a 50th anniversary, yeah, that works. But I don't know that this is going to, float that many people's boat.
To cram it into oh my
God, we saw
story.
The beaver. And then so you're bogged down by that instead of just kind of having fun with it. There's a couple jokes, there's a couple wink winks, but overall, it's not the greatest. And you just kind of end. You kind of end with, and you're going to have a Michael McDonald jokes going on. And I'm like, maybe me and Gray will get that. We're old men.
We're old, Jim. We're old.
Maybe that's just going to be the joke. The joke's on us because we're like, oh man, I like the Doobie Brothers. Why wouldn't, Star-Lord like them? But you end up with this whole deal ending, and then Howard pissed off because he kind of gets ejected out of the whole play and kicked off of the team. So you have that. The end. We go back to the Chip Zdarsky stuff, the wraparound deal of Howard just saying, is this all I got? I'm miserable everywhere. My life is bad all the time.
So unhappy. Every universe.
And then you get this weird play. You even mentioned at one point, like, this is why they'd never have a movie with you. Kind of a laugh. But then all of a sudden you see that Howard the Duck is actually a real duck in a construct suit. And I'm like, all right. And then leaves. But we get one last joke is when Howard's just like, I'm out of here. Let's go get something to eat. And Spider-Man's left there. Because remember, we're still in the rubble of this 2025 superhero 7 war. And Spider-Man's like, hey, Peeper. I'm telling you, I love the Peeper. But he's like, hey, Peeper, do I have any like good things in any other universe? Am I ever happy? And then the Peeper like looks at him and goes, yeah, I gotta go. And then you almost have the Spider-Man no more as he walks away.
Poor Spidey. Look at that slump, Jim, at the end as he strolls away. Oh,
I had a giggle. I mean, you could just say, like, just superimpose the alley with the mess. He still has it on, but it's in the trash can. It's pretty good. But yeah, poor Charlie Brown walking away, Spider-Man. But overall, this was what it is. If you're a completist or you really dig Howard I still don't even know if Howard the Duck fans would really love this, but you're not going to get much Howard the Duck, so you support the character that you love if you're out there. I don't know who's, the biggest fan, but with that, what would you give it?
This is tricky because, it's the 50th anniversary. It's supposed to be a celebration, but I got the most laughs, like you were saying, with the Chip Zdarsky, the framing story, that was it.
And that's like 3 pages.
Yeah, 3 pages at the beginning and at the end.
And you know what I'll give that to? That has Chip Zdarsky, kind of jokey, whatever, but the art actually tells a lot of the joke as well. So it actually is a well done deal. Some of these others, you're just throwing stuff at the reader. I don't know. I don't want to be too negative for it. It's okay.
Same here. Yeah, I enjoyed the second one and the third one, but I know what you mean about the third one, the backup story. It was too narrative heavy. It was overwritten, but the art was good. I thought the third one actually looked like Howard the Duck, if that makes sense. The most Howard the Duck image at times. But overall, Jim, I don't want to be too negative. I'm going to go 6, 5,
I'm going
6.5.
I'm going 6. I'm going a flat 6, and maybe Maybe the play is, too, that in this you have these 3 stories to wrap around. By the time I got to that 3rd story, I'd kind of checked out. I'm kind of like, okay, we know the joke here. It's not anything. You know what I mean? Maybe they would have been better played to have Chip Zdarsky just write one story.
Do the whole thing. Yeah, I would have preferred that.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.